boys and girls, Miss Millarns here, and today we're going to talk about fluently adding and subtracting within 10 using mental strategies. Before we begin, we're going to have Miss Johnson review the numbers 6, 7, 8, and 9.
I'm going to give you a second to think about it. All right, so I see the number 7, and I could have seen this a variety of ways. You might have said, I see 5 on the top because I know the first row of my 10 frame, if it's full, it's 5. And I see 2 on the bottom, and 5 and 2 make 7. Okay, you might have also said that you see a group of 4 over here and a group of 3 over here, and you know that 3 and 4 make 7. Okay. You might have also said there are 1, 2, 3 empty spaces on your 10 frame, so you know that 7 is 3 less than 10, or you might have simply just counted your dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so let's get started with our lesson. Let's do some vocabulary. Our vocabulary for this unit is 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we know that 6 is when we have the 10 frame full at the top and 1 more. Okay. We also know that when we're looking at our number path or when we're counting, that 6 is 1 more than 5 and 1 less than 7. We know that 6 comes after 5 and before 7. Okay, when we look at the number 7, we know that on our 10 frame, we have the top row full. So that's 5, and then 2 more. So it's 5, 6, 7. And when we're counting or we look at our number path, here is 7, and 7 is 1 more than 6 and 1 less than 8. 7 comes after 6 and before 8. Why don't you guys go ahead and take a minute and hold up 7 fingers for me? Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Great job. All right, so if we look at number 8, when we're looking at our 10 frame, we see 5 at the top and 1, 2, 3 at the bottom, and we see 2 empty spaces. Okay, and when we're counting and we're looking at our number path, we know that 8 comes after 7 and before 9. Okay, 8 is 1 more than 7 and 1 less than 9. Go ahead and hold up 8 fingers for me. So we have 5 over here, 6, 7, 8. So we have 5 on this side and 3 on this side. Let's look at the number 9. And number 9 is always an easy one because we have 1 space open on our 10 frame. So we have the top row is full and 1, 2, 3, 4 full at the bottom. And when we're looking at our number path or when we're counting, we know that 9 comes after 8 and before 10. And that 9 is 1 more than 8 and 1 less than 10. Go ahead and hold up 9 fingers. So we should have 5 on one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4 on the other side. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. All right. Our other vocabulary word for today is equal. And equal just means the same. So when we're reading our number sentence and we see the equal sign, we know we can say the same or same as.
Thank you, Miss Johnson. And now we're going to do a subitizing activity where you will look at the number of dots and you will say how many dots you see and how do you see them. So in this particular example, we see 6 dots total, and you might have seen them as groups of 3, or you might have seen them as groups of 2. So in this activity, I will ask you how many dots do you see? Here we go. How many do you see? 8. How many dots do you see? 6. How many dots do you see? 4. Good. How many dots do you see now? 6. How many? 6. Great. How many? 5. How many? 10. Good. How many? 8. How many? 5. That was a great job, boys and girls. And now we are going to listen to Mrs. Smith talk about making 10.
Hey everyone, it's Miss Smith, and I thought that we would just do some quick couch practice. See, here's my couch for Unit 3 and math. So, step 1 is to count to 10. If you look at this 10 frame, how many are in it? 10. You should not have to count to know that that is 10. Now here I've got 6 and I want to get to 10. So help me count up to 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what two numbers will make 10 here? 6 and 4 will help me count up to 10. Now down here, we need to be able to practice counting with one-to-one correspondence. So let's count and mark them off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I made sure that I marked them off so that I counted each number. All right, let's move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is comparing with N10, and we use the words more, less, or fewer to compare with N10. So look up here, without even counting, which side has more, the left or the right? The right side has more, and the left side has less or fewer. Now let's take it down to some numbers. If I see the number 7 and the number 2, which one has more? 7 has more, and 2 is less or fewer. Let's check it out on a number line. Here's 7, and here's 2. So remember, if it's more, you want more of it. I want more cookies. I want 7 cookies. I don't want 2 cookies. All right, let's see if we can do it on a 10 frame and draw it for ourselves. We've got the number 8. So I need to draw more than 8. Let's start with 8. Here's 5. 6, 7, 8. Now, what's a number that might be more than 8? 9 could be more than 8. Okay, now let's do less than 8. Well, gee, is 2 less than 8? Yes. Is 7 less than 8? Yes. I think I'll just stick with 5 because I like the way that looks on my 10 frame. So 5 is less than 8. Now let's get to the last section of our couch practice here. We're making 10. 4 and how many is 10? So I'm starting with 4 and I'm going to fill up my 10 frame and then I'll go back and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 and 6 is 10. Now what number is that on a dice? It's 5. Well, I should know 5 and what is 10? That's a double. 5 and 5 is 10. Now at the bottom, this is sort of the opposite of what we did up here. It's in the same family. 10 is 6 and what? Well, I'm going to draw it and do it on the number line. So I'm going to draw 6. And then I need to fill in the rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 10 is 6 and 4. And now I'll show it on the number line. So if I'm starting at 6, how many jumps will I have to make to get to 10? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that shows me 6 plus 4 will get me to 10. So there is some quick couch practice for Unit 3 of Math, and I hope you enjoyed it. It should be pretty easy. Thanks for hanging out with me.
Thank you, Miss Smith. And now we are going to do another activity called Snap. I will show you 10 cubes, and then I will put them behind my back virtually, and I will say snap. Then I will show you how many cubes I have in my hand, and you will tell me how many more cubes I need to make 10. So in this example that you see right here, I have 10 cubes. Snap! I show you 5. So how many more cubes do I need to make 10? Well, we can use addition or subtraction to find the answer. So I can say 10 minus 5 is 5, or I can say 5 plus 5 more is 10. So my answer here would be 5. Let's do some more. I have 10 cubes. Snap! I'm showing you 3. How many more cubes do I need? I can say 10 minus 3 equals 7, correct? Or I can say 3 plus 7 equals 10. I have 10 cubes. Snap! I show you 6. How many more cubes do I need to make 10? 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I can say 10 minus 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I would have 4. I have 10 cubes. Snap! I am now showing you 8. How many more do I need to make 10? 2. That is correct. I have 10 cubes. Snap! I'm showing you 1. How many more do I need to make 10? 1 plus 9 is 10, or 10 minus 1 is 9. All right, boys and girls, we're going to listen to Miss Winkle as she goes over some vocabulary.
In today's lesson, again, this should all be review, but to get us thinking about the type of math language that we should be using, let's review that now. So the first word that we're going to use is add. And when we add, we put groups together. It could be 2 or more groups, 2 or more quantities, to find the total, or how many in all. The plus sign is the math symbol that means add. And what you're seeing here on this sign is plus. What does plus help us do? Add. We're also going to need to remember the word subtract. Now, when we subtract, we take away. And the minus sign tells us to subtract. Here's what the minus sign looks like. Okay, and whether we're adding or subtracting, we need to be sure to understand the word equals. And this is what the equal sign looks like. It's the math symbol that means the same as. It gives us a place for the answer. So one side should be the same as the other side if they are equal. All right. As we wrap up today, let's think about what we've covered so far. So we focused on addition as bringing groups together and using the plus sign to help us think about adding. We've talked about subtraction by itself, taking away or removing parts to be left with a smaller number. We've talked about what the equal sign is and how it balances our equation. And we've done that with objects, with our fingers, with pictures. And now I want us to bring it all together, what we remember about adding and subtracting, and we're just going to look at number sentences. It might be subtraction, it might be addition. You have to look at your math symbol to know what kind of math you're supposed to do. It's really important. If you're going to get the correct answer, you have to pay attention to what kind of math you're going to do. So as we finish up today, I'm going to read through some number sentences, and I want you to call out the answer. Now, as you think through that, remember to pay attention to if it's a minus sign or a plus sign so you know whether to take away, maybe counting back, or if it's an addition sign, you know to add or join groups together, counting on. All right, so let's go through our lightning round together. Have you got your thinking cap on? You've been doing so awesome today. So our first problem says 9 minus 3 equals 6. If you said 9 minus 3 equals 6, you're correct. Now you can hold 9 in your mind and count back 3 times. So we've got 9, 8, 7, 6. I counted back 3 times from 9. And that brought me to 6. That's a mental math strategy for subtraction, is to count back. Maybe you quickly put your fingers up and you took 3 away and saw that that left you with 6. That works as well. Or maybe we're just getting these addition and subtraction facts down and we're modeling that fluency already. All right, let's try another one. 3 plus 5 equals 8. If I have 3 and I add 5 more, that puts us at 8. The way I like to think about that mentally is to start with your bigger number. So our bigger group is 5, and then I can quickly count on 3 times from 5. So I've got 5 in my mind, 6, 7, 8. Now that time I'm adding because we have what sign? The plus sign. All right. Next, 6 minus 2 equals 4. If I start with 6 and I take 2 away, that leaves me with 4. So I have 6, 5, 4. Count back 2 times to equal 4. Next, 2 plus 6 equals 8. So I have 6 in my mind, 6, 7, 8, counting on 2 times. 7 minus 4 equals 3. If I have 7 and I take 4 away, 1, 2, 3, 4, that leaves me with 3. You can also count back from 7 4 times. So hold 7 in your mind because that's the number you start with, and count back 4 times. So I have 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Counted back 4 times because that's what the minus sign said to take away. And the last number I said was 3. And finally, 8 plus 2 equals 10. So I have 8, 9, 10. And the thing to remember as we went through those was to be sure to look at your plus and minus to know the difference. You guys, thank you for joining me for our addition and subtraction practice today. It's been so much fun getting to work on these fun strategies that you had done at school. Please know that all of us at Knox County, your kindergarten teachers, are missing you so dearly, but thank you for joining me today. Keep up the good work, kindergarten. Bye.
Thank you, Miss Winkle. And now we're going to talk about the student packet problems that you will get in this week's packet when you pick up your meals. All right, so the first 2 problems are counting dots and saying how many and how do you see them. And in this one, you're going to cover 2 dots and then say how many dots you see. In problem 3, it says, how many heart flowers do you see in picture A? Jill brought 3 with her from the flower shop. Picture B, how many does she have in all? So we're going to do an example to show you how that is done. Hello, boys and girls. Here is an example of question 3 that you will see in the packet. Mary had 3 butterflies. Mary saw two more butterflies join the three butterflies. How many did she see altogether? So first of all, let's see what we're talking about. We're talking about butterflies. All right, and what is the question asking us? How many did she see altogether? So Mary saw three butterflies, and I'm going to use these stickers to represent the butterflies. So she saw three butterflies. One, two, three, and then two more butterflies join those three. One, two. So the question says, how many did she see all together? Let's count. One, two, three, four, five. So Mary saw five butterflies all together. All right, boys and girls. The next question says, what is a team number? Show how you would model the number 12. Draw dots in the 10 frame and leftover dots below the frame. So we're also going to show you an example of that. A team number is counting numbers that represent 10 and some number of ones from 1 to 9. Boys and girls, this is question 4 that you will see in your packet. So here is an example of how to do question 4. It says, what is a team number? And we know that a team number is counting numbers that represent 10 and some number of ones from 1 to 9. And when we talk about it, we usually say a 10 and some more. So the question here is to model the number 13. So the first thing that we would do is to put in our 10 in our 10 frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we're modeling the number 13, so we have 10, and then we need to do 3 more, 10 and some more, and that would be 3 more. So we would model it by saying we have 10 plus 3 more, or some more, so 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, boys and girls, the last problem in your packet says, Susan has 16 cubes. Some are red and some are blue. How many can be red and how many can be blue? So here is a sample problem similar to the one in your packet. Joe has 15 cubes. Some are red and some are blue. How many can be red and how many can be blue? All right, so we can start out and we can say we have 8 blue cubes and we have 7 red cubes. So 15 equals 8 plus 7. So that would be one combination or one joining of the 8 cubes and the 7 cubes to make 15. All right, another way that we could do it is say that we have 6 blue cubes and 9 red cubes, and when we join those together, we can say 6 plus 9 equals 15. And if you look over here, I've listed all the combinations of 15, and I also gave an example that if we say 8 plus 7 equals 15, then the commutative property also says that we can flip-flop those numbers and say 7 plus 8 is 15. All right, boys and girls, the subitizing activity we did at the beginning of the video came from this website, so you may want to download some more to work on. All right, so it's been a pleasure talking with you today, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.